sweating.
Where? What?
I'm sweating.
Where at?
On my butt crack and my balls and everywhere.
These mics checked. Mine seems good.
Mic check. I guess we agreed the name of this is Two Broken Dudes, or...
Yeah, it's Two Broken Guys.
Two Broken Guys.
Yeah.
We are here with Lou Justice Johnson. My name is Neil Bules, and we're going to talk about a variety of topics tonight. I think what I want to do is just kind of touch on everything, you know. Lou, you and I, we go back 26 years.
Longer than I've known anyone or anything.
Right? And rarely do we get together, and if we do get together, you know, I think the last time was 5 years ago. We really didn't have the set of circumstances that we're facing today as a country, you know. So it really wasn't on our mind. I think back then it was just the Ducks and the Buckeyes in Dallas.
Oh, yeah. It's Brian's birthday, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And we thought Bama was going to be there, but we ended up enjoying the Ducks and the Buckeyes. A couple of things that you and I have in common. Of course, you and I both served in the service.
Right.
You, a United States Marine, myself, U.S. Army. And now we've both come out with our own set of service-connected issues that are related to different circumstances in the service. I want to talk about, like, VA healthcare. You know, what are the...
You know, that's something that should be discussed. I mean, it's not like it's not being discussed. People know, other people are talking about it, but there's another perspective, and I think we should. So let's do it. It sounds like it's going to get real WWE up in here, so yeah, let's talk about that.
You know, wait times consistently have been an issue for veterans. You know, we have the 22 a day campaigns. We're trying to bring awareness to the veteran suicide thing. We have veterans committing suicide inside waiting rooms in forms of protest. Where is our administration? Where is the government? Where is the Department of Veterans Affairs on the federal, regional, all state levels? Where do you think they're failing?
Across the board, here's the problem. People are being appointed to have oversight to look over the VA who aren't qualified, one. Two, what we typically do is we say, oh, well, the VA healthcare system is just like a hospital, but it's not ran like a hospital. As you know, it could vary from Austin to here. We're in Alabama. It can vary from Sacramento to Oregon. There's no consistency across the board. When there's no consistency across the board, people go, oh, we're not being monitored or held to a specific standard because we're our own little thing. Well, it shouldn't be that way. What should happen is they all be on the same damn page. And let's take, for example, you want to get health care through the VA, you're 100%. You want to go to Pensacola, Florida, not too far from here, and you want to be seen. You can't just go in and make an appointment. You have to sit down and you have to start the whole process over again. If you're on vacation, if you're in a different state, visiting family, and you have a need to visit the VA, you have to go through that process all over again and then still wait the same times. There's such this huge backlog that they're missing too many steps. They're not checking enough boxes.
It's definitely not like turning over your Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance card when you walk into the VA door.
Exactly.
You have to fill out the forms, and then you have to get assigned, and then you have to see when the next available date is with the doctor on that team, and then you wait for that date. And if there's an urgent matter, you just hope that VA medical center has an urgent care clinic or a minute clinic or something like that.
Right. And some do, but some don't. And you don't really know which one does. And then to find the walk-in clinic, it's a treasure hunt.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. You know? So that leads me to the next thing, activism. How do we get heard? How do we make the change? You know, one point I was talking about to you the other day was, you know, we've got a lot of Greenpeace people or anti-water bill or whatever they were.
Yes.
Green New Deal people or whatever they were piled up outside of Nancy Pelosi's office when they have issues that they're passionate about. We have a tremendous amount of congressmen and congresswomen right now in the U.S. House of Representatives and in the Senate that are veterans, Iraq War veterans, Afghanistan War veterans, Gulf War veterans, Vietnam War veterans, just so many that have served. So we have a tremendous amount of support from those veterans and those not veterans that just still serve us. But how do we get us at the local level to get those people engaged and involved so that those efforts start getting concentrated back home to their constituents?
Yeah.
You know, I feel like we need more grassroots efforts back home to kind of stimulate that movement.
Yeah, no, I believe.
You know?
No, we're on the same page on that one.
You know?
Look, we always say, if you want to change the way that things are up on Capitol Hill, then vote locally, and that's not a lie. If you vote locally, and not just for, say, the presidential race, right, to vote for who you think or who you find to be the most appealing or the favorite or whatever. I mean, outside policy. When you don't vote locally, it has a ripple effect. You don't vote for your senator in your district or, whoever your representative is in your district. And then someone gets in there who has voting power to change laws and to make laws and create legislature that is in opposition of what the constituents need. Not what they want, but what they need. And so if we don't have a ton of veterans voting locally, I mean, I know it sounds like a really simple thing, but I understand it's not. Some people are like, you know what, I'm not voting because I don't believe in the system. Why don't I believe in the system? Because I can't even get medical right now and I'm 100% disabled. For example, someone would say, those people don't want to deal with the government. They're like, you know what, fuck it. I was in the military, I'm just going to rough it out. I'm just going to tough it out. And then it just becomes, you're just packing dynamite on top of dynamite. And before you know it, you're exploding and you don't even know why.
And next thing you know, you're no longer a priority. The people inside the Appropriations Committee in the U.S. House of Representatives.
Well, I mean, look at what we're doing. Look at what we're doing as a country, right? We're so divided right now. The left and the right are arguing, bickering about things like this is a schoolhouse fight. Withholding transportation for, liberals who are trying to leave the country, and liberals are like, okay, fine, we're not going to sign on your deal for the wall. It's a game. It shouldn't be a game because the game you're playing is with people's lives. You're playing with people's emotions. You're risking everything for your ego when you should be focusing on risking everything for your constituents. And it's not happening.
And I think that applies equally to both sides.
Absolutely, it does.
Used to be a day, when you and I were in high school, when Newt Gingrich, as the Speaker of the House, worked with Bill Clinton, who even at the time was still, under fire and was a very embattled president with his own issues. But they still managed to get things done. They still managed to come to the table and look beyond all of the fire in the press and all of that stuff and still managed to legislate and direct the country. Win, lose, or draw. I mean, Clinton was impeached. He decided he wasn't going to resign. He stayed in office. He was still, in my opinion, an effective president for the remainder of his term. I served under him. You did too.
Yes.
And so I had no issues. Matter of fact, I think I got a stimulus check one time in the mailroom. Mailbox money.
Yeah.
No issues there, Clinton. Appreciate it. Maybe he could have used it for a little bit of dry cleaning, but,
Hey.
never know.
We forget these things.
But to get back on track, there's no excuse why these people who were paying hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and plus travel and, they've all become millionaires in office.
Oh, yeah.
And why they can't come to the table to sit there and say, no money for your wall, not one bit. But then on the flip side, to sit there and say, well, I'm going to get what I want regardless.
This is how we get to that point in our economy where we rob Peter to pay Paul. Because look at what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. The president's like, hey, cool, man. You're not going to give me money to pay my wall? I'm going to find the money. Because his constituents expect him to live up to that campaign promise that he made. So, you know what? Look, I'm not a big Trump fan. As a matter of fact, I'm not a Trump fan at all. Because I just don't like him as an individual, let alone a president, okay? But he's the president, so that's cool. You got the job.
I have no doubt that if you're a United States Marine assigned to the White House, regardless of your personal opinion, you would still salute the president of the United States. He's
still in charge right now. So you don't respect the man, you respect the office. I respect the office of the president.
I have no doubt.
Wait, hold on. I haven't made my point yet, sugar. Come on, sugar. Oh, we way down south right now, so you think I'm not going to be throwing around the sugars on this show? Boy, you better wet your lips. Boy, I'm about to be all up in your sugar.
See, why haven't you come down here sooner? It's a natural thing. So you already fit in.
Look,
cheesecake recipes and all.
Hey, first of all, I drove out here overnight, and I had never. Austin is the most south I've ever been, and that's really like California inside of Texas. It doesn't feel like the wild, wild west or what people would think when you say, "Yeah, I live in Texas." Like, really, where do you live? Oh, Austin. How is it there? Safe as fuck. It's really nice. I can walk around bare feet because they have laws that say people can't drink out of glass bottles on the street. But Neil's like, "Yeah, I'm in Alabama," and I'm like, "Cool, man. We decided I was going to come see him." And I was like, "Fuck. How racist are they in the South today?" Because I ain't been down here before.
Not in my household.
Yeah, not in your household.
And not in the company that we keep.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't think that. Look, there might be one racist dude plotting on the block, but he ain't coming outside. He's too busy building a bomb. Anyways, I'm saying it's not what I expected. It's hella nice here.
It is. It's beautiful. This is a hidden treasure down here.
Today you took me out to the Gulf. I saw the Gulf for the first time ever.
Turquoise blue water,
white sand beaches, dude. I was like, this is. I said, we're still in Alabama. Like, as a matter of fact, I made a comment to you in the truck, and I said something about Florida, and I'm like, wait, we're not in Florida.
No, we're not. No, it's not Miami,
dude.
It's Gulf Shores.
Wow. Okay, yeah. I went off the reservation there, but we're robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why I say on the flip side of the coin, you know. And you mentioned one thing. You said his constituents expect him.
Yeah.
You know, Donald Trump constituents wouldn't be the first constituents to ever be let down by a president.
Right.
Obama let us down on plenty of punchlines. He supported us in plenty of punchlines, you know, but he let us down. He was not without failure. You know, George Bush was not without failure. Clinton. Mm-hmm. No man is perfect. We can go all the way back to George Washington. Every president is not without failure. To assume that I need to get this wall built or I'm not going to get reelected, no, there's a spin doctor somewhere. We don't have to start robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah, well,
we don't have to.
Unfortunately, that's already being done, right? Because we're taking money from certain military programs to help pay for it. We'll see how far that goes.
And that takes our divide that much further apart right now.
If some of our junior senators, if some of our senior politicians, if they put as much energy into taking care of the United States of America and in veterans and troops and finding, I mean, yeah, cool, the jobs thing's great. You know, it's like we're at this point in our economy where the unemployment rate is ridiculously low. Cool, it's been on decline since like 2009. It's sad that because those numbers look good, we assume that the country's good, and it's not. Shit's falling apart here in your own house, and it's like we're focused on this bickering fight back and forth.
Yeah. You know, we still have to legislate this country,
right?
You know, we can't all go to Washington to be activists disguised as legislators,
right?
You know, you need to legislate. You know, we have people who need things. We have bills that come to expire that need to be passed. We have appropriations that need to be divided amongst.
Yeah.
We have an election coming up that there's bills that just not just electing people, but bills that need to become law.
Let's also educate ourselves on the process. So we have to look at what it takes to create law so that we can act on it properly, right? So we get this new congressman, junior rep, and from the time that congressperson hits the floor, there are all these outsiders, say lobbyists. You got to deal with your lobbyists. You got to deal with your constituents. You got to deal with your peers. You got to deal with your seniors, and you have to present a bill to them and write it and present it to the floor, and then it has to make sense. I mean, and then not only does it have to make sense, then you have to get everyone's approval, and everyone's tweaking your idea because, hey, I'm not going to vote on it unless it says this. I'm not going to vote on it unless you slip this little thing underneath it so that you kind of rub my back, I rub yours. I'll help you get the votes you need. And lobbyists come in and they say, hey, oh, you need a new bill? Hey, I got a bill for you right here. It's already written.
That's right. And the thing about it, too, is, number one, those lobbyists are the first to get an appointment with the congresswoman or congressman, congressperson, not the constituent, not Six-Pack Joe or Joe the plumber.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, those lobbyists.
Call your representative right now and try and set an appointment. Good luck.
Yeah, I couldn't even find out when Terry Sewell's next public event down here in Alabama was.
Well, I'll tell you what it is when it's time to get reelected.
Now, the second thing that you talked about was the bill, and a majority of them are already lawyers, so a majority of them already have their special little trigger words that they like to make sure that keep bills as broad as possible in order to maximize the flexibility that they'll have to bring back to their constituents, to operate on within that bill. But while we were talking about the divide, and before we go into, legislating and that whole process and Schoolhouse Rock, I wanted to talk to you about the flip side, this division that we have in our country, okay? You and I, both veterans, we've known each other for 26 years, all right? We met each other back in the neighborhood. Best friend, family,
Yes.
We have this guy out here who some perceive may be trying to make the divide wider, and some think he's trying to stitch up the divide. And I wanted to see what your opinion. And for those who just don't know us, Lou, you're a black man.
Black as shit.
I'm a white man. Okay.
White as shit. Snow bunny.
Race has never been anything that really you and I talked about, because it's never been an issue.
It's never been an issue.
Until you went on one of your social media things, and I saw it, and you said, as a black man, I'm offended by Donald Trump.
Yes.
And I called you and said, damn, that's the first time I ever heard you say it like that,
Yeah.
You're not one who ever says, as a black man, or as an African American individual, or anything like that,
Mm-hmm. Well, I've always considered myself, at least in my adult life, after having been in the Marine Corps, I'm dark green, I see everybody as equal. Dark green, light green, whatever, because that evens the playing field. I mean, shit, I was the white sheep of the family anyway, So,
yeah, but even then, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about color. We need to be looking at people based on, is this guy a stand-up individual? Can he look you in the eye?
Right.
Is he driving drunk? Is he on the road high? Is this guy trying to pick my pocket? Not, oh, well, there's a black man, let me watch my wallet. Let me just watch my wallet.
Yeah.
It doesn't. We don't have to make presumptions.
Yeah. Well, it's tough though, right? Because here's the thing: shit's different here. Period. Mm-hmm. And it has been since the Revolutionary War. We have generational biases. Now, in saying that, even as I was saying it, I almost said generational racism, but we don't, because some people aren't racist. They have their ideas. They have their biases. Implicit or unconscious biases, either way, they have them. And hey, it steers decision making. So when I walk into a restaurant and there's a nice young, white lady who was not brought up around culture, black people, Hispanics, whatever, she grabs her purse and brings it closer to her. It's not because she's racist. It's because she's got her own set of ideas that have been generationally instilled from maybe her great-great-great-great-grandfather was racist.
Do you think maybe that's the kind of fight or flight instinct?
Absolutely it is.
Absolutely it is. They look at something that they're not familiar with in their immediate environment, or that they grew up with, as something as foreign. And when they see that, they, boom, draw close. Whether it be,
look, I'm glad you
black man or whatever, Asian man, or, Yoda.
Damn. He did it. He found Yoda.
So our man here, okay, he's either splitting it or he's bringing it back together. Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing, because I haven't heard him say it.
I haven't heard him say anything, really, but actions speak louder than words.
Sure. What do you mean by that?
Actions, not words. Acted non verba.
Yeah, sure.
Well,
yeah, I got you.
So Colin Kaepernick obviously came out.
I'm telling you, give me an example. So
Colin Kaepernick, he came out. National anthem starts. He takes a knee. Everybody flips shit.
The world knows.
And I've got to admit, for a split second, the veteran inside me, the respect to the flag, said, "What the fuck, man? That's not what you do." But then I remembered what it is that flag stands for. I want to hear from you, proper, improper, right, wrong, indifferent, appropriate, inappropriate. Where's Kaepernick standing Justice's book of integrity.
I think the best thing that anybody can do is be true to themselves, right? And
Absolutely.
So,
Keep it true to the game.
Integrity, right? Doing the right thing for the right reasons at the right time, even when no one's watching. How can you come out and say that you have any type of social or professional integrity if you don't have any personal integrity? That personal integrity, in this case, I believe, is Colin Kaepernick comes out and he takes a knee, and that's his voice. He doesn't have to say anything. Like you said, actions, not words. He made a move that he knew would garner the attention of people who needed to listen. And that's what we need to be doing. We're a bit disenfranchised from the rest of the healthcare systems.
Oh, yeah.
Just based on the fact that, hey, you call your doctor right now, you pay for healthcare. You call your doctor right now, you try and set an appointment, you can probably get in Wednesday, Thursday, sometime during the week. Veterans, we go to set an appointment for illnesses that were great enough to get us disability services. So for a disability appointment, a month, 2 months, 3 months.
10th.
June 10th. We went in yesterday
To
get an appointment. Even if you just...
Soonest.
And you can go in and say, hey, look, I'm short on meds. I just moved here.
And I broke 2 toes.
Yeah, he broke... Yeah. Can't even get in until June 10th. So, great.
They'll take a look at it and give you a podiatry consult in June.
Right. So, as was mentioned earlier, and I know I'm going to backtrack a little bit, but as was mentioned earlier, that's part of the problem with where we're at in these veteran suicides. It's like, who's taking care of them? Well, the answer is no one. No one. Battle buddies, but they're not fixing the issue. Make you feel good right now, but they're not fixing your medical issue. All right.
We're doing more to prop each other up than
absolutely,
than what the VA is doing to ensure that we're doing the things right that we need to be doing right, and seeing these people as often that they need to be seen.
Now, going back to Colin Kaepernick, this integrity, where does it lie with me? He's being true to himself. Mm-hmm. He's showing his own personal integrity through his actions, and I think that's damn good. And is he starting a movement? Was it too much? Was it disrespectful? Hey, everyone's got their own perspective, and the great thing about us being American citizens is I can think whatever I think, and it's okay. And he can think whatever
it is.
Yeah, he can think whatever he wants, and that's okay. And just because someone's opinion or someone's actions don't align with yours, hey man, that's okay. So what?
The world's going to continue to turn. The wheels in the sky keep on turning.
Sun's still going to come up in the morning.
But some say, well, the flag isn't the place to do it. The national anthem, we got to stand for the national anthem. We got to respect the troops and this and that. But at the same time, and I know this is going to set the world on fire. There's just
hold on a second.
Passion.
I'm going to go get some gasoline. I'll be right back. You guys setting the world on
Shit,
fire,
I almost took my headphones off.
Hey.
I'm looking at the ladder right here.
Talk about personal integrity. Hey, no shit. Neil almost took his headphones off. He thought I was really going to get some gas.
So
he knows I ain't playing. Burn this bitch down. Say what you need to say, player. Don't hold back.
They go on and on about that. Flag this and veterans, and we've got to respect the troops and we've got to support the troops. But I feel like there are hundreds and thousands of troops that recognize that the sacrifice that is made in support of the Constitution of the United States, which states that he has that right to do so, they recognize, hey, well, I sacrifice so that he has that right. We may not like it, but sometimes when you're standing on the line pulling guard duty and you're toting the thin line between peace and anarchy, you may not like it, but you do it, And so I'm really indifferent. I really wasn't watching NFL football before. I think the NFL just let him do his thing. I definitely think he's been blackballed by the NFL.
Oh yeah,
there are far worse quarterbacks. I mean, there's a job out there somewhere for Colin. Had he not been blacklisted, but he definitely.
Whoa! Blacklisted? What do you mean by blacklisted?
Well, I don't mean by the color of his skin. I just mean
giving
by
you shit, bro.
I know. What do you mean, you people?
I just got it. I'm like, wait,
what do you mean?
Yes, he has been.
No, but I think really honestly, taking a knee and being quiet and just being asked after the game what it was about and explaining his point of view then, he didn't call for riots in the street after the game. He didn't call for the streets to be burnt. He didn't call for the world to be set on fire. He's not funding Antifa.
Yeah.
But my question is, he is calling for social justice.
He's calling for social. More importantly, he's calling for social reform, which is what needs to happen, because everyone's idea of social justice, it varies depending on how you've been treated.
Absolutely, it varies on how you've been treated. I'll get to that here after this sentence here here. But they should have backed off on the cameras. They should have backed off on the media, just like they should have backed off OJ.
Yeah.
Because they tried to try him in the court of public opinion too. You know what I mean? And so my ultimate opinion on Colin Kaepernick, bro, do your thing. He gave out like 1,000 suits to some dudes in Detroit trying to get jobs.
That's legit.
At the center.
Yeah,
something like that. Like he got like a bunch of donations and stuff, and took a bunch of suits down there. Gave out some suits to some dudes that had job interviews.
Well, that's another problem. Hold on a second. Let me slow you down, because I'm glad that you're saying that, because one, I didn't know, so it's good knowledge, and definitely
got to read all sides.
Yes. So check this out. I'm just gonna say this shit. You're talking about setting the world on fire, bitch. Get my flamethrower. Hey, black people don't take care of black people. Okay, you go into an Asian community. Look, you got the son, his wife, their kids, their sandwich families, and then son and wife is taking care of mom and dad and grandma's in the house, maybe grandpa's in the house, right? So they do all these things to take care of each other, and black people don't do that, man. And that's what's destroying us.
I'm gonna buy motorhome. Just edit that shit out.
Well,
because I ain't got no fucking word to talk about. Anything.
So here's
and it doesn't definitely need to start with they.
Here's my point. Good. Here's my point. My point is we get on people like Colin Kaepernick for having an opinion, voicing it in a manner in which he can be heard without even moving his lips. We get on people like
Kanye.
Kanye. We get on Jussie Smollett. But let me tell you something. Where are they in the community helping people? Colin Kaepernick's helping people.
Well, I would pull Jussie Smollett out of the company of Kanye and Colin immediately.
No.
Because before this incident, I'd heard of Empire, but I had never heard of Jussie Smollett because I had never known him to be an activist. Kanye has at least stood up and been like George Bush, Obama. He's called out Trump, but Jussie Smollett.
Really?
I haven't seen Jussie.
Really?
Since his arrest, I've seen him.
Hold on a second.
Did I miss something? No. Was he an activist?
No, but what I want you to know is making noise doesn't make you an activist, bitch. What are you doing?
No.
You know what I'm saying? No. Kanye's not an activist.
But Kanye and Kim Kardashian were instrumental in getting that criminal justice reform law passed.
So they did one good thing. Look, I'm not saying it's.
One thing is better than no thing.
I'm not saying it's bad, and I'm not saying it's not enough.
One thing is better than no.
But what I'm saying is if you're out there to make yourself look better, because all of a sudden I'm going to try and do this. Look, if you're not consistent in your method, if you're not consistent in your action, then no, you don't. Yeah. No, I'm not going to fucking clap my hands for you because you did something one time, which was probably and more likely than not a celebrity stunt anyway. Mm-hmm. Granted, the outcome was great, absolutely, but many states were already doing it. So California is one of the most progressive states in the U.S. And in California, man, Jerry Brown was already doing that. Jerry Brown was already reducing the amount of African Americans who were in jail, for stupid shit, and sentenced in an unbalanced fashion amongst their white peers.
And then, like I brought your attention to the other day, the polar opposite, the Department of Justice just completed a investigation on the state of Alabama Department of Corrections, scathing reports. People getting beaten to death, raped. They report it and get beaten to death in retaliation. The murders falsely reported as dying of natural causes. They're not keeping records of how many people are dying and of what causes.
Right.
They're refusing to hand over further information to the Department of Justice. They're delaying the release of prisoners. And in Alabama, just the simple possession of a small amount of marijuana could lead you to a year, 2 years, 3 years in prison.
Wow.
And in that year, if it's 11 months and 29 days, you can stay in county jail. But if it's
a year or more,
if it's a year or more, you go to state prison. So those small time offenders that are catching those raps right there and having to do that stretch in state, or even sometimes in the more populated county jails, what's to say that they're even making it out? And if they defend themselves, they catch multiple charges while they're in, and now we're enslaving again.
Who do I like for president?
Yeah. Anybody yet? Anybody got you fired up?
No, but I mean, there hasn't been an opportunity. I mean, this is that time where everyone's going to say everything.
Yeah, there's like 19 Republicans in the field early on, so for 2016.
And what for?
So we're back from a little bit of a break here, and so where did we leave off at? We're talking about. Okay, so Colin Kaepernick, he's good to go.
Look at your notes, player.
He has his rights to do whatever the fuck he wants because he's human and grown. I'm grown. I'll do what I want. I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm grown. Jussie Smollett. Okay, if that's justice, then amen. So I'm not a lawyer. I'm gonna defer on that one. Oh, one thing I did want to bring up. You talked about we were talking about this racism thing, and I say racism thing kind of lightheartedly, but it's not. It's really a huge freaking problem in our country right now, and it's a problem in every neighborhood and everywhere. But early on in the Trump campaign, and I told you about a couple of colleagues I used to work with asked me, said, hey, do you think Donald Trump's a racist? I said, well, I don't know. I've never had to walk down the street as a black person.
Yeah.
So while I sit here and throw my opinions around like I'm learned or something, I still recognize the fact that as much as I may recognize on the street or much I might have learned, nothing replaces the fact that I have never had to walk down the street. I've never had to engage in the world, as a black man, black woman.
So many people have this idea that a person is away or is not away, and there's no conversation about it. Because there's a lack of conversation, disrespect occurs. Perception is reality. Your perception might be different than mine, and his may be different than hers. And like you said, it's like you're like, I don't know, your perception of the world is different because you haven't had to be in that position. So I think that was a kick-ass answer. I'm sure they weren't expecting that.
Well, probably not.
Yeah, probably not. That's right. I would guess not. We'll just say that.
Yeah, but on that same token, I mean, the man is unfortunately, that's a conversation we're having to have now because of some rhetoric and some dialogue, and I think it's really interfering with a lot of the positive things that he has or could have brought to the table during his presidency, and had he probably been a little bit more polished.
Yeah, we call that finesse, right?
Yeah, finesse,
Motherfucker got no finesse. Because he doesn't care.
He needs to watch that movie, How to Be a Player.
No, he needs Hitch. We got to break it down from the beginning, like in
He needs to go a little bit more old school than Hitch, because then he wouldn't, Will Smith got it from somewhere.
Yeah, his damn daddy.
He needs to watch House Party.
And his mama.
He needs to watch House Party
Will
1,
Smith
2,
got it
and
from
3.
Look, man, I'm telling you. Watch House Party, having a pajama jammy jam. Get the fuck out of here.
He needs to get the kid and play.
No, you know what he needs to watch? He needs to watch Colors. Then he needs to watch...
No. Sean Penn did fantastic. It was a fantastic performance.
Yeah,
I think Sean Penn is
He's a great cop. He's a great cop.
Robert Duvall, tremendous performance.
Tremendous. Wonderful. Beautiful. Never seen anything like it. You can't find these guys anywhere. You can't find these guys in Hollywood. It's like they're from Hollywood.
Yes. True story.
Anyways.
Very bad people.
All right, let's push on from that guy. Stomach's starting to hurt. I too am becoming full of shit.
We're going to have to take a pause here for a deucer. So let's talk about how we can fix this shit show. You know, what can leaders like yourself, you know, United States Marine, what can the people who are in Congress, you know, the people who are on TV, you know, everybody has an opinion. Everybody has a lot of animosity and a lot of rhetoric and a lot of aggression. But when it gets down to it, it's not helping anybody. Great, everybody has a job, but really, are they caring about their neighbor as they used to?
No.
I've lived next door to these people for a month now, and I don't know their name.
Yeah, which is crazy because, like, I met my neighbors. I was like, hey, cool, they're in the garage. Hey, fuckers, I live next door to you.
I know his name. I don't know his. I tried to speak one day. Hey, good morning. Watering his flowers. I was putting out some weed and feed, trying to get rid of my dandelions. His grass looks good. I didn't want my grass to be the shit grass in the neighborhood. You see, he's got tremendous landscaping. He's out there all the time.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. He went good with the solar lights. Mine are the cheap shit. You know, he
still look good.
He got like the $60 box, like the $80 box. I got like the $20 box.
Shit still works. That's good.
I mean, it still works, but you know. So hey, good morning. You know, hey, okay, that's about it. You know.
Yeah.
So
some people need a little more time to warm up.
Perhaps, and you know, I think that's just part of the disconnect here in America because blue and red, you know, they no longer can just make purple, you know.
Well, that's more than a politics thing, right? That's also as I mentioned earlier, you know, that generational bias. It's like, hey man, you notice it's an older family, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, so, I mean, you know, hey, older family in the South, he might have his opinions, he might have his biases, he might have his, you know, ideas on race, even though it's a black family. Like, we can be racist, everybody can be racist.
Brother.
Everybody can have their own biases, so maybe he's got his own biases.
Brother, I've been in places here in South Alabama before I moved down here.
Yeah.
With colleagues I worked with who worked with my family for 20, 25 years, who told me stories. And I've been in churches, you know, fixing their air conditioners in historically black churches, where the reverends have told me stories of how they snuck Dr. Martin Luther King in there, you know, Mr. Abernathy, who marched with Dr. Martin Luther King. I worked with his son for years. Good friend of mine, actually. He's a Gulf War veteran and a good man. Yeah. You know, so I've been in these homes. I've had the honor of being in these homes. Okay, because to be invited into their homes after having them, you know, gone through what they've gone through, and them see enough respect in me and my family to tell us their story, and to, you know, that
it's pretty huge.
You know, there's some things that there's some things they told me and shared that I don't even just out of respect to their families, I don't feel is appropriate to share here on the microphone. But, you know, some heavy things happened, you know, and coming from California and learning that, you know, and getting a different perspective, it has completely changed the way I view things, especially seeing how much people went through, you know, and what people still go through, because you talk about generations. You know, you talk about the bicentennial of Alabama this year, you know, 200 years.
Right. You
know, and so that plays a big part in it too.
A lot of history here, both good and bad, you know, just like anywhere else, but a lot here, you know.
The stories are passed down from generation to generation.
Yeah.
And it's like operator.
Yeah. Yeah. The story will change. Come on. It's just like anything else. You know, you tell enough people and you say, hey, pass this message. Like you said, it's the telephone game. But, you know, they say it doesn't matter who you are. Each human, you know, doesn't matter the color. Each human will carry the weight of their ancestors, you know.
Yep.
And so it happens a lot in the South. And there's a lot of shit gets heavy down here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But, you know, it's not so heavy now that we can't sit here and have a conversation, you and I.
Yeah, look, we're here doing it.
Regardless of, I've lived in Alabama longer than I lived in California.
Right.
Now.
Right.
And
how long have you been here now?
Since 2004.
Yeah.
And
that's a long time.
And I moved to the South in 2001.
Right.
Down to Georgia, so minus a year back in California to scoop up a few things. But other than that,
down here.
So, left in 97 and kind of toured around with the Army. But when I got out, 04, been down here. So 15 years now.
Where'd you go with the Army?
South Korea, Georgia, New York. I can't a few other places.
Yeah.
Louisiana.
Oh yeah, you went down to Polk. Irwin? Were you at Irwin?
You did a rotation over there.
Yeah.
Just did a bunch of rotations on cool little places, So talking about the just this divide, that we have, and these different. I always tell my kids, man, somebody has to break. They get in this little standoff, and they're looking at each other, they're staring each other down. One person slaps somebody or puts a hand or gets aggressive or flinches or something, another person reacts. It's an action, reaction to that, and it trickles.
Right.
Eventually somebody has to stop.
Right. So
who's going to be the one to stop?
About carrying that weight, right? This is the time to break the chains. I feel like I attempted to break the chains in my family in their way of thinking, right? So on a larger level, which in which we're speaking about, between breaking the divide of these politics and bringing people back together truly, in support of the people of the United States. Who's going to do it? I don't know. We don't have a leader right now. And I'm not talking about the presidency. I'm talking about we don't have anyone. Yeah, we don't have anyone stepping up to say, hey, this is what we need to do. Let's do it.
Both sides.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem. Sometimes motherfuckers just don't want to be heard. Like, okay, I'll say this. The other day, I posted some shit on Twitter, and I was like, or someone said, there's all, basically having the same conversation we're having now, where, there's all this divide and yada, 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 and then you know what? We don't have a leader. And I was like, yeah, I know. We don't have a leader, and what we need is for someone to put their ego in their pocket, step up and do what's right for the people. And then someone chimed in, in this day and age, people don't want to be led. And I responded, no, people want to lead. They just need the right motivation. And they need to know what the motivation is. If you tell someone, hey, get in line, we're going to do this, and this is going to be the benefit, and it's going to help everyone, people will get in line. They just want someone to stand up, make it make sense to them, speak to them in a language which they can understand, and lead.
That's right. And again, I still think about Michael J. Fox, the spin doctor in American President, the movie, and he's hey, Mr. President, they're so thirsty for leadership that they'll crawl through the desert to get to it.
Yes.
And he goes through that whole spiel, and it's true. I mean, this country needs a leader, and when they find a good leader, they'll file in lockstep.
Right.
Look at Obama's voting record.
Right.
First and second time.
Yeah.
I think second time he did better than the first, right?
I think the message might have gotten out.
Yeah. So personally think that some of his economic policies caused us to stay in a recessed point down here in the South for longer than what needed to be. I don't know how things were out west, but down here we suffered for what was longer than necessary due to the regulations on coal and those kinds of industries that may have improved things up north where they were a little bit more advanced in their energy and things like that, or maybe out west where they were, but down here we haven't had time to get that infrastructure, we haven't had resources or whatever. That caused us a little bit more pain down here.
Right.
So that's why I'm glad that Trump's economic policies have helped our area so much. Now you've been down here and you see how vibrant it is. This was a very, you can kind of see how dead it was here recently with the older buildings kind of still lingering along the highway, but all the new that's coming up as well.
Hey, when I was driving, on the 10. Oh, I'm from California. I say the 10.
Yeah, me too.
The 5, the 10, the 1. Like, it's Mopac in Austin. I'm like, that's the 1. So when I was on the 10, coming across the bridge.
Yeah.
And I see like big buildings, they're all lit up. And I'm like, where am I? And I'm like, this isn't Alabama. I was expecting, I mean, I know I've touched on this earlier, so I'll keep it short, but I was expecting some backwoods bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not.
Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Dan.
As a matter of fact, it said now entering Sweet Home Alabama. And I thought, I'm going to Greenbow, Alabama.
No, that's a little bit further north.
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, but that's the first thing that get in my mind is Forrest Gump. So, you know.
There's no Greenbow.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Greensboro.
Yeah.
Which is about 30 miles away from where we just moved from, but good people up there.
Yeah.
But catfish country. But no, we're doing good down here. We're progressive. You know, we have a Democrat, Doug Jones, in the Senate now. You know, and he has a homosexual son. You know, that was there when VP Pence did the ceremonial swearing in and all that kind of stuff, and he just wrote an article here that was published on AL.com about our probate judges here in Alabama not issuing. They just, now that the Supreme Court has said that, you know, gay marriage or, you know, same-sex marriage. I haven't lived in California for many years, so if I'm skipping on the PC, police, brother, look, you know, pardon me.
You're doing fine.
But look, you know, if them there folks want to get married, you know,
It's all right about
they
me.
all want to get hitched now.
Yeah.
If Bo and Bo
Yeah.
decide to go,
Let Bo and Bo be miserable like everyone else.
So now the judges said, well, we're not going to sign on the marriage licenses. So now we're just going to do away with the need for marriage licenses in Alabama. Some people were great. Now the LGBTQ community, you know, they can get married. And now we've done what we need to do, and we've satisfied obligations of the Supreme Court.
Right.
Good deal, right?
Probably not.
We've progressed. Well, I think his name is Carter, Mr. Jones. You know, Doug Jones's son. He wrote an article saying, "Hey, well, that doesn't necessarily mean that we have progressed. It just means that we have, you know, Alabama basically just chewed the crow. Doesn't mean that they recognized really any basic human rights. I mean, there's positive coming about, you know, through legislation.
Yeah.
You know, the crow's getting choked down eventually.
But also, there's not so. But it's like, here's the whole thing: the legislative process. It's a writing process, and you know, as I've recently learned more in depth at you know, at my school. Damn, it's been such an eye-opening experience to go back to school when you're older. I'm telling you, if you're 40 or older and you're like, hey, I think I'm going to go back to school, but I feel old. You are old, but get your ass back in the classroom. It's nice because we understand, we listen, and we. This is a good time to be in school. I'm just like that. And so I said that to say this. It's a writing process. When writing is involved in creating law, when creating rules, you can do a lot of good, but you can also do a lot of bad. Because you can write laws that, say, the 1 to 100 law, for example, you know, and this is, you know, hypothetical theory, obviously, because we can't say it is or it isn't. There's not enough research. Or maybe we can. Who knows? I'm not a fucking researcher. But what I do know is that crack cocaine can carry, let's say, 1 gram of crack cocaine get you 5 years in state prison. But 100 grams of powder cocaine will get you 5 years in prison. It's 1 to 100. So, writing process can create laws like that. Now, why does this matter? This matters because crack cocaine is a poor man's drug. If you're poor and impoverished, and then you are facing 5 years in prison, and you need good counsel, good lawyer, you probably can't afford it, because if you could afford a good lawyer, you wouldn't have been smoking crack, you would have been snorting cocaine, right? Sure, absolutely. Now, who's more typical to have cocaine? Well, people with money. People with money get a good defense. So if the max penalty is 5 years in prison for having 100 grams of cocaine, you have enough money, obviously, because you got 100 grams of cocaine, to get a good lawyer. You might just do 1 year. Meanwhile, the guy who had less than you, but comes from a different socioeconomic background, is going to do more time, even though you had 100 times more what that guy had in his possession. It's crazy, right?
It's insane. And now, before I go back into the under or the less than 100 and the 1 to 100 scale, but just real quick, your background in law enforcement, inform me. Is there any different classification for somebody who has greater than 100 grams of powder cocaine on them?
I mean, no, I use those numbers as an example, as they've been explained to me as an example.
Yeah.
Just
in the magnitude of the sentencing structure and the criminal justice system.
Yeah, so that example is used to show how imbalanced
it is. It is absolutely imbalanced.
The execution of the administration of justice is.
Since that.
Yeah, crack cocaine epidemic.
Since the first ladies were wearing those collared dresses that went up all the way to their neck, and then the little paisley things, rest in peace.
So for Ms. Jackie, she said, fuck you, I'm doing my own thing, see you.
Well, yeah, after her, after she fell off, it's kind of, we had Tipper Gore and we had Hillary and...
It's a pretty boring White House.
I mean, I'd kind of say...
Till Michelle came, boy.
And, and being followed on with Melania,
she's a dresser too.
The inauguration, was at least, if anything, entertaining.
It was.
Bill was scamming as always. He got peeping. He's like,
you know what though, man? I'd be like,
I'm gonna go ahead and have to check that out real quick.
That's a pretty good impression, sir.
I wonder if we're gonna have to do an economic stimulus package so I can get some dry cleaning. Yeah. Oh fuck, Obama.
You're out of control, and I love it. Hey man, George Bush correct that shit. He'd be like, hey, George W. would be like, stay away from my girlfriend, man. Look, I'll just say this in closing, and we'll move past the show here with that. I wish George W. Bush was back in office right now. I'd take George W. McKenna for what we got. Just saying. And that's the last thing I'm going to say about it.
I think I said all I need to say. Really, I don't have anything. I hope that we can kind of move closer to peace rather than just amongst each other. I mean, everybody else, let's continue to rip ass in ISIS, and let's continue to forge for peace in Afghanistan, and let's continue to support the troops, because we have a lot of battles going on overseas, and we need to continue to keep those battles overseas. But us here at home, we need to be more united, because we're 18 years now engaged, or going on the 18th year now engaged in a global war on terrorism, and we're not united in our mission to defeat the actual enemies. We all salute, fly, stand for, kneel for, recognize in some way the power of the American flag, and we need to be united in that.
Yeah, a little solidarity wouldn't hurt. Yeah. Now, and with that, I'll also say that for fighting the wars overseas and keeping our enemies there, so these types of divides that in which we're engaging in now unnecessarily creates animosity between people here in the United States, and
it allows for that crack in the seams.
That's exactly right.
Which will allow for that evil to permeate.
That's exactly right.
And explode us from within.
Yeah, and there's been plenty of that, and it's been in the news, so we don't even need to go into it, but you're absolutely correct.
Mm-hmm. So.
Well, hey, look, this is your show, and I'm glad to be a co-host.
Man, this is all you. But I thank you for rendering your microphone to me for the evening to allow me to grill you.
Don't try and back out of this shit, bro. This is your show. This is you. I'll guide you with what I know, but I don't know about you folks. But Neil, I think he killed it. Is this your first time doing this? I know you did a little bit of work for a radio show before, but
yeah, I recorded some Church's Chicken advertises and some for like a gas station.
I told you, man, you 7% black or more. I knew it. I didn't even know it was Church's Chicken. You hella hood.
You've never had Church's Chicken,
bro? Yeah, but I stopped eating it and going to Popeyes. Like North Highlands, remember there was that one. There was Church's. There was the Long John Silver's. There's a Popeyes and a Burger King.
But look in the deep south, the Popeyes haven't made it to every small town.
Oh, and are they not in Louisiana? Because that fucking racist ass Louisiana fucking Popeyes commercial, I'm like, I just turned that shit off. I'm like, you motherfuckers.
Is that not the founder?
I don't fucking know. Who knows?
But I know that when they do them chicken finger claw things on there, that shit looks, that ain't right. Like,
What are you talking about?
Like when the way they cut them chicken tenders to actually look like a chicken's foot, like this, like a claw hanging out.
I haven't been there in so long.
And it's like a deep fried. Looks like the fucking cook dropped his hand in the deep fryer.
That's nasty.
You know?
That's nasty.
And it's like, oh, it tastes like chicken anyway. You know?
I haven't been to Popeye's Chicken since
the other night when they were closed.
We were looking for something, and I would have torn up. I was so hungry, man. I drove, 10 hours to get here, and
I didn't have no damn food.
I would have tore up some damn Popeyes, but I haven't been there since 2000, Okinawa, Japan. I used to fuck up them fries.
Inside the little lobby area, food court, and all that stuff. Next.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn, son. You've been to Okinawa too?
No, but at that same time is when they put one in over at Camp Casey.
Oh, nice.
Which was 45 minutes south of where I was at. But, we found it a good reason to take our equipment to go to the 3 shop and go down there and get them tacos and Popeyes.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah. Me and First Arm, we deadlined the shit out of all kinds of stuff. Hey, we're going to get about 100 tacos in this deadline Hummer.
Look, it's fixed.
It was the old plug. All right, guys, I'm out.
All right. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks. Hey, look, so this is Two Broken Guys. It's Neil, and I'm Lou. You can catch us on Spotify, iTunes, Spreaker, SoundCloud. We're glad to be here. We're glad to have you guys listening. We look forward to hearing from anyone out there. All right. See y'all later.